Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere that just had a remembrance for Memorial Day. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025, and this is the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me here on this wonderful day after Memorial Day. They say you're not supposed to say Happy Memorial Day. I get that. It's not really a happy thing. We should be happy that we have people willing to sacrifice of themselves for the greater good, for our country, for our liberties. How many of these well-intentioned people unfortunately gave their lives for something fraudulent? Ooh, that's a topic, isn't it? Do you know people going into the military? Have you advised them to go in? Have you advised them to stay out? Have you served? Do you know people that didn't come back? I mean, look, I know people who didn't come back. I've encouraged people to avoid the military. To each their own individual path. No, I definitely did not want my brother serving. And, it's hindsight being 20/20, 50/50, hindsight being whatever it is. I just know when he served, he might have ended up getting wrapped up in the post 9/11 Middle East deployment thing. So who knows? If he did sign up, maybe he might not have made it back around that time. You just never know. And you have to wonder about the people who are getting into the military today. What are they getting into? Do they trust the leaders? Do they trust the leaders who are going to be sending them into conflict? Now, that's a question. That's a question that maybe under Barack Obama and Joe Biden might have a different answer. And I suspect that to be true. I suspect that is the case, as military enlistments are drastically up right now. Drastically up. I think Americans at our core, we want to serve. We want to give. we really, really want to do something of value for our community. So to everybody out there who has have to everybody who has endured a loved one not returning, prayers of peace and strength to you, tokens of appreciation and gratitude, and a solemn moment of sorrow and thanks and strength and all the things that are needed in these times. Yeah, I mean, of course, it is a holiday. Hello, Bella's Chance. For the holiday, I was away at my brother's. Good to be home. Hello, everyone. Yes, welcome back. And yeah, it is a chance to take a break, So it's like you don't say Happy Memorial Day, like yay! Think of all the service members who didn't come over, and you're like, I don't know if that's the right vibe. That's not really what I'm going for with this. Yeah, a lot of barbecues, a lot of spending time with family and friends, and isn't the greatest celebration of somebody's life and a acknowledgement of their time and their sacrifices to make sure that we're spending as much time as possible with our friends and family. So, you know, there's some of that. Lots of thoughts, lots of feelings, but cheers to everybody out there. Thanks for being back. I almost did a show yesterday, by the way. I got into the studio, was ready to go. And then boom, power went off. I am telling you, the power goes off at this place more than any other place I've lived in. It's not a problem with me in my house. I actually had all the electric upgraded when I got here. It was one of the provisions of the inspection process. Got this place in 2019, back before the market was as hot as it is now. And it's just combination. It's a hot market, lack of inventory. Yeah, all the outlets where it had the two prongs. So it's like I'm not going to plug everything into like a two prong and a three prong wonky adapter. No. We need to ground all these. These need to be swapped out. And got a new service panel. But man, the electric goes down. What did they say? There were like 100 people without, and there were like 14. I don't even know what they're called, but the 14 things in the neighborhood got tripped, so they had to go up in the poles and reset or repair or replace 14 fuse boxes. I don't know, fuses. So I said, you know what? Never mind. It's got good weather today, then it's going to be a rainy mess. I'm just going to do the laundry. I'm going to do the yard. I'm going to go cut the grass. And I love it. I love being outside in the sun. I love sweating. I love working. Hey, I'm curious though. Anyone out there, are you being invaded with cicadas? Oh my gosh, the cicadas are everywhere for me in my life. They are all over the place. They are loud, they are annoying, and when I was cutting the grass, man, they were flying, landing on me, 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 hitting me in the head. I'm like going, what is happening? Are these Chinese drones pretending to be cicadas? I don't know. I've never seen a cicada invasion like this. So, anyway, those are some of my experiences. I also saw a bee or like a hornet or a wasp or something, a little bee going at all of these cicadas. I actually saw one of them. It was like stabbing it and stinging it and what have you. And I was watching it happen. I'm just kind of, curious, just going, why is this occurring? And then I changed my mind and said, well, you know what? I took out a stick and then I kind of pushed it onto the bee where the cicada was and kind of got the bee to stop the stinging attack. And I moved the bee. Then I saw it back stinging others, and there were like 20 dead ones. They were just, maybe these bees have just sort of had it. Bees have had it with these loud, annoying cicadas, so they're offing them. I'm going, is this the killer bees that I've heard about? Africanized bees? So I'm curious if you're having any cicada experiences where you're living. Hello to everybody in chat. David and Kenneth and Bella and TK, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Bella saying he really likes the new bar backdrop. Thanks. The cicadas crunched when you walked. Yeah, I mean, they are everywhere. It's an insane amount of cicadas. So, oh yeah, Kenneth, they are bugging me. Wah, wah. I'll try to work that in my next stand-up routine. Yeah, I do like having the TVs back here. It's just like, this is my vibe. And why is it glowy? I didn't change the lights. The lights are up all the way, right? I believe so. Something has changed with the lighting, though. I don't quite know what it is. Anyway, we're going to cover the news and get into all of the things. First off, let's start with the most irrelevant part of the program. We're just going to cover what's going on. This is the TNAM Daily Show. So I do like to see what's going on in the world of sports. If you're an NHL fan, this is a great time for you. Florida now is up 3-1. Florida Panthers are up on the Carolina Hurricanes 3-1. One more victory will land them in the championship. So one of these four teams will win a title. Hurricanes, Panthers. And Edmonton. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. I think I want an American company. I'm sorry, an American company. An American team to win the Stanley Cup. So, Edmonton is up 2-1 on the Dallas Stars. I guess I'm pulling for Dallas in that one. So that's a 2-1 lead for Edmonton, and they play Game 4 today. Panthers Hurricanes play Game 5 tomorrow. Let's bounce over to the NBA, shall we? NBA playoffs bracket. Oklahoma City got the win. They are now up 3-1. One victory away from playing in a championship series. I was pulling for the Timberwolves because they've never won a championship. The Thunder, before they were in Oklahoma City, did win when it was in Seattle, the Supersonics. So if you count that, I usually just tend to root for the team that hasn't won in the longest amount of time. That's sort of how I do this here. But that being said, either city getting to celebrate its first NBA championship is kind of cool. So I'm sort of all right with either team here. And then Pacers Knicks, man, the Pacers had this. They would have been in the driver's seat up 3-1, but they blew it. They were up big. And they ended up getting beat by the Knicks, who have life in them now. They have some life in this series. Indiana is up 2-1. Their next game is today at 8 o'clock. So Pacers, Knicks, Thunder, Timberwolves, one of them will win a championship. Doggone it, my Cavaliers lost 4-1 that series. Brutal. Could tell you this one. A man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after liver
We had worked
parade
extensively
collision.
with event organisers and key partner agencies in the months ahead of the potential parade. And a robust traffic management plan was in place, which included a number of local authority road closures throughout the route and the city centre. This included Water Street, which was closed to traffic. It is believed the driver of the Ford Galaxy car involved in this incident was able to follow an ambulance onto Water Street after the roadblock was temporarily lifted, so that the ambulance crew could attend to a member of the public who was having a suspected heart attack. As with many large events, with event organisers, we planned for all contingencies, and this included the implementation of road closures to protect pedestrians, and an armed policing presence was also in place throughout the day. There was no intelligence to suggest an incident of this nature would take place, and as we've previously stated, the incident is not being treated as terrorism. An extensive investigation into the precise circumstances of the incident is ongoing. Following the incident yesterday, I can confirm on behalf of the National Health Service that we are aware of 50 people who were treated at hospital.
50 people injured. Dude drove a car in shortly after Liverpool's Premier League victory parade. Oh, so weird. They're identifying this guy as white. ESPN never does that, I guess, unless the bad guy's white. They went out of their way. If my memory serves me right, that hockey killer, the one that jumped up and gave a flying roundhouse karate kick to the guy's throat and ended him, I think they went out of their way to not tell you his race. I believe that was the case. 53-year-old man from British West Derby. Suspicion of attempted murder, dangerous driving, and driving under the influence of drugs. So the guy accessed the road, followed an ambulance, attending to a member of the public. And then people started banging all over his car, I think, is what was going on. I got some video of this. It's so weird. This whole story is very short on details, but they really wanted to tell you that the person was white. A white British man. I don't think ESPN normally does that unless it's to make white people look bad, honestly. And that's not just based on this story. This is like 14 years of the New American Media covering ESPN stories. Like, they go out of their way to not tell you those details. Nimbus hears me talking. He loves jumping up and being a part of the show. TK Mark is doing a thought experiment about South Africa and the white farmers, the Boer. It's an interesting story. That's South Africa. I don't know. I don't quite get the defense of the anti-white hatred in South Africa. I don't quite follow the logic, but go ahead and keep it going in the comments. That's what it's there for. We're here to engage and learn from your thoughts. So anyway, we have some video of this, but I mean, is it a story of a mob blasting on a car? And it's like, well, then you accelerate and you get the hell out of there. Was it a terrorist attack? I don't think they're thinking that. So that did happen. Anything else in the world of sports? Really. Nothing else
A history of winning
per se
started.
that I wanted to get to. Come on, Nimbus. You are right where I need to be, sir. All right, let's go over to Instagram. Let's refresh this. Share this tab instead. And kablamo, we got stories. All right, TK Mark. Nobody is saying anything. No, let me be clear. I was specifically talking about the ESPN story about the person who drove the car into people. That's what I was talking about. ESPN has been very woke, i.e., anti-white, for a very long time, pushing the fake Bubba Wallace hoax, pushing the fake LeBron James hate graffiti hoax, pushing the was Juicy Smollett. I guess that had nothing to do with sports. That wouldn't have been there. But yeah, ESPN, ABC, Disney has been pushing an agenda for a long time. But yeah, the story about South Africa is about racism against white farmers, the Boer. And I had a guest on last week, Mr. John B. Wells. Let me show you. I would encourage everybody to check out this interview. I spoke with Mr. John B. Wells from Caravan to Midnight, and his wife is from South Africa, so he had insight, and he definitely concurs that there is a big problem down there. Big problem in South Africa. And they have, by the way, they have enacted laws. They have put legislation in place that is very discriminatory, very racist, very anti-white. So there is that happening down in South Africa. That is for sure. So, I don't claim to be a 100% expert on the topic, but, I will follow the story where it takes me. Let's get here. Being a libertarian posted this. You remember this picture? I mean, by the way, doesn't this look like a fake Biden? If you've ever seen a fake Biden. Now, I don't know if this is a fake Biden, but he sure looks fake. Look at that picture. He looks like he's wearing a robot wearing a skin suit. C3 says this man held the nuclear codes. Everyone in DC knew that he was gone. I never want to hear the words national security threat screeched by the media or Democrats ever again. The Trump administration, according to Breitbart, has sent a team to investigate free speech violations in Britain. Now, we have a story coming up about Tommy Robinson, who was set to be released, and they charged him again with more stuff. So, I guess he's out temporarily, and they're going to try to get him again. You know what? I mean, that's somebody you might want to consider getting extradited. Try to free somebody from the persecution over there. His crime is that he's releasing documentaries about the invasion of Europe, and they don't want that information out there. Oh no, how dare you talk about what's happening? That your country's being invaded and nobody's doing anything to stop it. How dare you? Don't know everything about Tommy Robinson. Don't support everything the individual that I'm not super familiar with has said in his entire lifetime. Of course, polarizing figure. Fine. Well, I think you should be able to talk about your country being invaded. 30 million illegal aliens invaded America. That's something relevant. That's something worth paying attention to. And it's something that's permanently changing Europe if Europe doesn't get their shit together. So I fully support the Trump administration sending a team to investigate free speech violations in Britain, per that report. Thank you, Nimbus. Thanks for joining. To our first-time viewers. TK Mark, are you a first-time viewer? I don't recall. But yes, Nimbus will make his appearance. Once I start talking, he jumps up. He's like, what's going on? And we'll headbutt for a while. It's the way that we hug. It's super cute. Rand Paul is bringing sense to the conversation about budgets. Says, in case you needed a reminder, our national debt is currently at more than $36 trillion. That's more than $323,000 per taxpayer. And Washington wants to add to that. So, come on, guys. Can't you do better than this big, beautiful bill? David saying, Canada, where he lives, is not too far off. I know. It's a plan to invade every sovereign nation with the third world. They want to blend everybody together, remove customs and traditions and community. They just want it all to be blurred together. Toss it in a Vitamix and it's all just blended into blah. No, I think a small amount of immigration, if people are going to learn the history of your nation and learn your language and adopt your customs and blend in and assimilate, hey, the best of the best, cool. Dumping the dregs of society into your nation so that they can abuse your citizens and steal your resources? I mean, are you out of your mind? Yeah. The Obama doctrine people, the globalists, have been out of their mind for a long time, and people have not been standing up to it. Now they are. Oh, but they hate when you notice. Noticing is bad now. Like Rand Paul noticing that the budget is a total mess. And it's like, that's not a big, beautiful bill. That's a mess. I'm torn on it. Because I get that President Trump needs he needs some money to implement his agenda. I get that. On the flip side, you're not supposed to be having budgets that are this ridiculous. And when you're this much in debt, you got to cut back and pay it down. Pay it off. Bella saying a friend went to London. She told me that it's unrecognizable from years ago. Yeah. There are no-go zones. It's an Islamic enclave. It's a caliphate. It's an invasion of Northern Africa. It's an invasion of Europe. It's not just in the UK. It's everywhere. The US has its own invasion. I mean, it's Central American. It's South American. It's Venezuelan. It's Honduras. Well, I guess that is Central American Central American. It's just people who are not citizens from parts unknown, intentions unknown, just going in and taking over a nation. It has to be pushed back upon, or else you lose the sovereignty of your nation. David saying, if everything is going to change, why would you pay any debt anymore? What do you think is going to change specifically? People, the money is only going to be, going to the people who control everything. Well, okay. And why can't we just say, we're not paying that, we're done. That doesn't belong to us. I wasn't here when that ran up. That's not my responsibility. It's your fault for loaning out money to people that had no intention of paying it back. That's not our fault. That was a previous administration. Go collect it from the Clintons. Go collect it from Biden. Go collect it from Bush. Go collect it from Obama. Anyway, I like that Rand Paul is calling this out. Like, I don't know the answer, but I wish we would spend less. I wish it felt like we were taking this seriously. So a report here from Breitbart again. Doge. Social Security has officially removed 12.3 million individuals who were listed age 120 years old and older. I feel like we could have just gone to triple digits. And at that point, you got to prove that you're still with it. But the question is, fine, you took 12.3 out, but have we set mechanisms in place so that we can keep this from happening again? That would be my major question. Can we keep this from happening again? James Owen put this out. Says nobody's talking about this, but when you hear whispers of Biden staffers selling pardons, this number starts to make a lot more sense. So they say, start the audits. This smells like treason. So Bill Clinton had 459 pardons. Bush, only 200. That's a low. Second lowest was Trump, 237. Now look at this. Obama went with 1,927, almost 2,000. And then Biden went up 4 times that, or 100 times Bill Clinton. And my math's not mathing. 20 times Clinton. Joe Biden, 8,064 pardons. They were auto-penned. They weren't legitimate. They didn't have oversight. They probably all need to be voided. Yeah, Obama, that was his test run, and he ramped everything up 4 times that. That's sort of the Joe Biden residency. Everything Obama started getting into, he ramped it up when he got to be the shadow president with his puppet Biden. You got the third and most honest term from Barack Hussein Obama under Biden, because he got to do everything he wanted. He just had the cover. He had the protection of saying, oh, that wasn't me. That was Joe Biden. Sure it was, pal. Seriously, with this debt, David, who do we owe? I'm not paying anything. Get out of here. If we're not paying our previous invoices, you shouldn't be loaning us anymore. Who? Oh, the banksters? Get out of here. Hey, person on kick, 5-year bloodletting CEJ. Show us what you can do. Give us a taste. Give us a sample of how you intend to blow up, to increase the chat. I am open to that. But yeah, Obama went 1,900. That's 5 times what Clinton did. That's 10 times what Bush and Trump did. Then they went 4 times past that to 8,000 under Biden. That's insanity, people. All right, let's talk about the census. Part of the reason why America and sovereign nations are being flooded with non-residents is to permanently change the voting demographic, get people hooked on free money, and then you'll get one globalist power in charge forever. So what's Stephen Miller and the Trump administration planning to do? Here we go.
Howard Lutnick is passionate about this issue. He's taken leadership on it, and he's going to do everything he can to clean up the census and make sure that illegal aliens are not counted. Of course, the best form of exclusion for illegal aliens is to exclude them from the country completely by sending them back home, which is what the American people elected President Trump to do and what we are doing. But again, you have a handful of judges elected by nobody sitting in local cities and communities claiming that they can rule over the foreign policy, national security, and defense of the entire United States, to micromanage the activities of our Defense Department, of our federal immigration officers, of our cabinet secretaries. In other words, judges who will claim the powers of a king, all for the purpose of the mass importation of illegal aliens. The Democrat Party has as its highest focus, its orienting, overwhelming mission, the mass importation of illegal aliens into this country, mass third-world migration. That is what the entire Democratic Party now serves and exists for, not the American people. Howard Lutnick is passionate about this.
Not the American people. Let's fix this. It's time to really fix our census to only count American citizens for political power purposes. This is madness. That was my comment. Being a libertarian reminds us, let's see if this is it's just one singular post. Welcome back to Republicans being in charge, where massive spending continues and the Doge cuts don't matter. Shame on the Republican Party. Shame, shame, shame. This is why I remind you, I am a MAGA man. I am not a Republican. Bella's chance. Yes. Who do we owe? The Fed? The cause of much evil? Private corporations printing the money. Why aren't we printing our own money? This is just, the whole system is ridiculous. Break free. Joey Manorino making this point here. And I will get to President Trump's Memorial Day message when I switch over to X. Actually, I probably have a couple things in here as I tear through the news stories. We will get to more on Tommy Robinson and other stories in the news. Joey Manorino here says America doesn't have health care. We have an industry that tries to make us sick. If we are cured, we are no longer customers of the industry. The food companies are in cahoots with the pharmaceutical company. They poison you to stay fat and sick. Every time I spend extended periods of time outside of America, I lose weight. RFK has been tasked with fixing this, but it's possibly the toughest job in the world. These companies would rather kill than lose their billions. Human life has no meaning to them whatsoever. Was that a little too harsh of a take, or do you agree? I do like that stinger because it's so concise. It's so fast. This one here is from Harrison H. Smith. Is this one post or several? Okay, there are several. So we'll go here. Change the... Oh, that actually works. Okay. Harrison Smith saying they set up Social Security and pension programs as a deliberate Ponzi scheme. Then they crashed birth rates with poison, propaganda, and economic pressures. So now to keep the whole thing afloat, they're replacing the population wholesale. It's not even hidden. They actually tell us the reason we need immigrants is to keep the pension system from collapsing. The problem is that the immigrants almost all go on welfare, meaning that not only are they not contributing to the pensions, they're actively draining government coffers. Who would have ever known? Now, Europeans have to push retirement back a decade to pay for the immigrants they brought in to pay for their retirement. So, and I say this in complete sincerity, everything is working exactly as intended. Denmark is set to raise the retirement age to 70 now. This is a complicated chart of Denmark, average net contribution to public finances. The lowest contributors are the alien invaders. Other Western immigrants, and then Danish origin people are putting the most in. Other non-Western immigrants had a spike there. So there you go. There you go, people. Why are we flooding sovereign nations with non-citizens? Eric Daughtry asking a question here. Why are the climate activists so silent about this? Trump just signed executive orders to unleash nuclear energy and open new experimental plants by next year. This is the clean energy they've been asking for, and they are silent. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious now that the new generation nuclear power plants are going to be the way, the cleanest, most efficient way to get the most energy possible. It's time. It's time to start using these. You know, you think of The Simpsons or Chernobyl or something, but I mean, that was first generation or second generation. They're on generation 4 or 5, I believe, right now. And those types of meltdowns are really not possible. David saying, so why are they just killing time when we know the final outcome will be a financial crash? Oh, and then a good question. What will happen to crypto if everything gets shut down? Good call. Bella saying Democratic votes were a bonus. The goal of Biden mass migration was to alter the congressional count. There are a lot of components at play. Many things at play. Amuse put this out. Can you stand? Let me change it. There you go. When Trump began hearing details about his intelligence briefings from Susan Rice on MSNBC, it became clear that it was time for a house cleaning at the NSC. As many as 100 members of the council were sent packing on Friday when it was clear they were working for the deep state and not the president. Top U.S. National Security Council NSC officials fired as Trump watched disgraced former NSC head Susan Rice on MSNBC detailing his interactions with council members. Rice has been involved in the NSC since '93, and she hired or knows almost every member of the NSC. She basically ran Biden's White House. Susan Rice. Keep that in mind. Matt Van Swole says Doge is literally one of the most popular government initiatives in history. 73% of Americans say they support cutting government waste. Trump brought in the smartest man on earth to do it. The left destroyed Elon for it. The GOP won't vote for it. I can't believe this. Elon says, did my best. I don't know what's going on with the Republicans not putting this into law. I don't like the Republican Party at all. How do you squander that opportunity? I am all ears. President Trump here talking about Harvard, a lot of weird Harvard news coming out. He says, why isn't Harvard saying that almost 31% of their students are from foreign lands, about 1 in 3? And yet those countries, some not at all friendly to the United States, pay nothing toward their students' education, nor do they ever intend to? Nobody told us that. We want to know who these foreign students are. A reasonable request since we give Harvard billions of dollars, but Harvard isn't exactly forthcoming. We want those names and countries. Harvard has $52 million. Use it and stop asking for the federal government to continue granting money to you. They're not paying? I thought they paid more. What do I know? Kristen Sokoloff says Seattle PD finally stands up to the woke mob as Christians refuse to be silenced at Cal Anderson Park. I thought this was an old story. Let me kind of click on. What's it called? Hang on. Yeah, Cal Anderson Park. I'm going to do a look. Cal Anderson Park. Arrests. Seattle PD. Oh, okay. Saturday, May 24th. All right. This is current. 23 people arrested at Cal Anderson Park in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood during a clash between Christian pro-life group Mayday USA holding a Don't Mess With Our Kids rally and counter-protesters, including pro-LGB groups. Seattle Police Department reported violence erupted at 1:30. Individuals throwing stuff at the other group. Yeah, which one threw at which one? Officers making arrests were assaulted, which led to additional arrests for assault and obstruction. 22 adults booked into King County Jail, and 1 juvenile arrested for obstruction but later released. 1 officer injured and treated. The event sparked controversy, with Mayor Bruce Harnell claiming the Mayday USA rally a far-right. Yes, I don't say far-right anymore. I encourage you all to drop the verbiage of far-right. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't repeat it. Don't read it. Change it. It's a right event that was meant to provoke, held in the heart of Seattle's LGBT community. Okay. I mean, you're allowed to provoke. You're allowed to say whatever you want. Anything is controversial and provoking to someone that disagrees, right? Yeah, let's watch the video and I'll go back to some of the explanation of it. It really is domestic terrorism, Antifa stuff. Very violent, very aggressive, very angry.
Fuck you!
So there you go. That's happening. The mayor, Bruce Harnell, alleged anarchists infiltrated the counter-protesters inside it. No, they are anarchists. That is what Antifa is. That's what the left is. These are their foot soldiers. Just put on a Palestine flag or a hat or a face thing, and the Occupy people, the BLM people, the Antifa people. These are the leftist mobs. Mayday USA denied their members were arrested and claimed they were redirected to Cal Anderson Park after being denied a permit elsewhere. Supporters of the counter-protesters, including groups like Seattle Democratic Socialists of America, yeah, of course, labeled the rally as anti-queer and anti-trans, while Mayday organizers, Jenny Donnelly, rejected claims of provocation and demanded Harrell retract his statement. Oh, a judge released 7 of the arrested protesters. Why would they do that? Seattle police officers criticized the city's decision to permit the rally at Cal Anderson. In both Pursuit Northwest, a local church, and Mayday USA supporters called for Harrell's resignation, planning a rally at Seattle City Hall. All right, so, you know, people doing their thing. That's Seattle for you. Real Ben shared this and said, oh, hold on. Where's the screen here? 1 second. Real Ben says, remember the Anthony Weiner laptop and how it was going to bring Hillary and Huma Abedin down? Remember the Hunter Biden laptop and how it was going to bring Hunter, Joe, and the entire Biden crime family down? Remember the Twitter files on COVID and how it was going to bring Anthony Fauci down? Whatever happens with this stuff, it dominates the news and then it disappears. Weird, right? Yeah, kind of weird. Representative Tim Burchett dropping a bombshell on the Benny Johnson show. Take a listen. What do you think?
A lot of news on our show saying that you believe that there could have been some real payola with some of these Biden
have
pardons.
to be 8,000 pardons. I said 2,000, and it's come out. Somebody said something like 8,000 freaking pardons. You think Joe couldn't remember what he'd had for breakfast? He couldn't remember where the dadgum bathroom was, and he reviewed 8,000 files on pardons. Give me a freaking break. This is so shady, and it's just Washington, D.C. It happens every day. That's the thing. It happens all the time. But with Trump in there, we're focusing on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And every department is suspect. And, you just can't get past it.
A lot of news on our show saying that you believe that there could have been some.
Yeah. I'm going to say reverse these fraudulent pardons and go indict Fauci already to get the ball rolling. Hey, did you see this ad? Trump and Hexas military ad shreds the woke agenda.
No more distraction.
And I'm just wondering if this is going to get flagged because there's music in the background. I am playing a White House post for the newsworthiness. This is covered under fair use and should not get flagged.
No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
we will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
And now, look, the only reason I am okay with President Trump putting such a large budget together is because we have to be ready for the threats that the deep state have in motion. The Golden Dome. You're hearing that Mark Carney up in Canada is interested in teaming up with Trump to get that Golden Dome across all of Canada as well. Greenland probably better be paying attention. That's smart. You want to protect the whole continent. So I get why President Trump would want to have better tools at his disposal. He's got to build the damn wall. We don't have the money for that. And then they money launder hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. Not even set up as loans. We're just giving this money away. It's called money laundering. It's called theft. And it's dereliction of duty to prioritize another nation over our own. How dare they? So I get why President Trump needs some money to go ahead and fix some of the problems that we have. I get it.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us. Our enemies will fear us. And the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military.
I like the thought that we're laser focused on the right stuff now. That's protecting this country, not fighting other nations' wars for them, and not funding other nations' wars. They want to go to war so bad, let them buy the stuff. Military industrial complex. Well, you go get that. You go get that money from them.
We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
Yeah, the recruitment crisis was legit. Nobody wanted to serve under Obama's third term. Are you kidding me? Vax mandates? Of course. It's like you didn't want to have a military. It's like you actively didn't want a functional military.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
No more distractions.
There you go. Laser focused. Military numbers are up. Clandestine put a few things out. Let's read these. The Democrats' lying legacy media. I don't say mainstream media. The Democrats and the lying legacy media just proved a disturbing reality. The propaganda machine can make the sheep believe anything. They took an 80-year-old vegetable with cancer who couldn't walk or complete a sentence, then tried to pass him off as a spring chicken, and the sheep bought it. They told the public to ignore the evidence of their eyes and ears, and tens of millions went along with it. This is the power of propaganda. It has the ability to bend reality itself. Pull back the curtain button. Establishment Republicans in Congress, according to Gentry Gevers, are reportedly trying to prevent Doge spending cuts from being codified into law per White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs. That's disgusting. And they all need to be voted out. Every Republican that's going along with this stuff. So let's take a look at Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. We already discussed Seattle's mayor. A lot of these big city mayors are big trouble. So he's facing an investigation over accusations of helping criminal aliens avoid immigration's customs and enforcement Is this another Democrat breaking the law?
You've heard it. The individuals that the mayor is standing with are murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, sexual predators, child traffickers. The list goes on. Which is why I will always stand on the rule of law and with ICE. And I don't just stand with ICE, I'll stand in front of ICE. Because we, the people, have had enough. I choose my community, my state, and my family over this type of nonsense. Which is why, due to the remarks of Freddie O'Connell and the potential for aiding and abetting illegal immigration.
Okay, this is not Freddie O'Connell.
The Homeland Security and the Judiciary Committees will be conducting an investigation into the mayor of Nashville, his conduct, and whether or not federal dollars have been used in criminal enterprise. I will not back down. I will not relent. And I will always stand with law enforcement. I want my community and I want my country back. This is Andy Ogles. Thank you for being here. Well, you've heard it. The individuals that the mayor's...
There you go. Thank you, Andy Ogles. Kevin Kiley says California is not a model for the nation. No, no. It is a warning to the nation. Look at the gas prices across America. $4.23 all over the goofy West Coast. Get into the real America here. Got it down $2, $2, $3. It's a big difference. 25%, 30%, 40% difference. Let's make energy affordable again. I'll type that. Let's make energy affordable again. Button. Yeah, I am tired of wasting all this money on gas.
Oregon.
We showed you about Seattle, Washington. We showed you the West Coast and all their ridiculous pricing for energy, for gasoline. Well, this one is in Oregon. Oregon police are having a Tren de Aragua problem. Listen to this. This is what your Democrat leaders are doing to you.
Police responded 17 times to a home occupied by a Tren de Aragua gang member charged with torture, kidnapping, attempted murder, and charging, according to the charging documents. This is from Katie Davis Court of the Post Millennial. Just amazing reporting right here. But this was in Lake Oswego. This is just down the road from us, right outside of Portland. And I want you to really think about what we just read right there. Now, if you don't know, Oregon has some of the most intense sanctuary policies where the local police and the local government here does not cooperate with ICE. They don't even cooperate with ICE detainers, even when it comes to dangerous criminals. And so they talk about safety. They talk about all the safety of Oregonians and people like us, yet they continue to pass laws and, ignore ICE detainers for dangerous criminals and gang members and cartel members that are in our state. Like, does that make any sense? And you even have the Portland Trailblazer franchise, our pro sports teams in Portland, that are pleading with the local leadership to start prioritizing public safety. It's like,
good. For the life of me, I don't get protecting scumbags. The next victim could be you or a family member or a loved one or a constituent. Why defend these dirtbags? It makes no sense. Never has.
Like, they're just now speaking out. This article goes on to say, an Oregon home that housed illegal immigrants accused of kidnapping, torturing, and attempting to kill a Washington state woman. Police records show that the neighbors have called 911 to report concerning activity that would generally increase after nightfall, including sounds of screaming, vans full of people being dropped off. The police showed up to this house 17 times to a house that housed illegal. That showed you just the lack of of investigating, or maybe they did investigate and they saw that they were illegal and they left it alone because they know.
We had this problem in Los Angeles. They would keep arresting the same people and the DAs wouldn't file charges. They just let them back out. I mean, it got to the point where OG gang members and their kids and their kids' kids were putting hits out on the meth heads that were bringing all the problem people into the neighborhood. There was a trap house, and I mean, it took every division of LAPD, the Vice Squad, and this unit, that unit, this division, that division. It's like, just they're right there. Go get them. They're attracting all the junkies that go in and out. And then when they leave, they're going around the neighborhood, stealing everything and setting things on fire and breaking into homes, stealing packages, breaking into laundry rooms, breaking into machines, stealing the quarters. It's all coming from that house, and you all know it. We all see it. We're all reporting it. Will anybody fucking help? These cities being run completely backward has got to stop. Eventually, I just took off. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I don't know why you guys are all backward. I can't. I cannot take on your problems. Can't do it.
The Oregon, the governor and the legislature, they know the policies here, the sanctuary policies, and they did not want to mess with it. Why are the Democrats of Oregon prioritizing, and I say the Democrats because they're in charge.
Yeah.
But why are they prioritizing these illegal criminals over your and I's safety?
I just said the same thing. I can't for the life of me get an answer on that one.
It's disgusting. And the fact that they keep getting voted in is incredible to me.
Are they getting voted in, or have they found a way to rig the blue cities so that they can deliver mass amounts of ballots? And is that going to change now that 12.3 million people have been taken off of the fake Social Security rolls? I don't know. But I also cannot fathom that residents of a city would keep voting for soft on crime people so that they could keep getting abused. I can't accept that.
Not only ignoring illegals that are here, but ignoring the illegal criminals that are here and refuse.
And ignore it. Did he say illegal criminals? Because they're also ignoring legal citizen criminals. I don't get it.
Refusing to cooperate with ICE. You already saw a lot of police departments around Oregon that refused to cooperate, that said they came out and said they were refusing to cooperate with ICE. Why would you refuse to cooperate with ICE when they're like, at least cooperate with them when it comes to illegal criminals? But no. And that's how dangerous these sanctuary policies are to the state of Oregon. I don't ever want to hear the Democrats, and when I say Democrats, I mean like the politicians, the leaders. I don't mean like, I know a lot of Democrat voters who don't agree with what they're doing either. I'm talking about the leaders. Whenever you hear them talk about safety, health and safety, you can't ever take them serious again when you read stories like this and you see how they're allowing cartel members. They had the biggest fentanyl bust in American history with the kingpin living in the capital city of Salem, Oregon. Don't ever let these people tell you anything about health and safety anymore. Oregon.
Yep, that was from David Medina. Flee blue cities, flee blue states, maybe. All right, so Vladimir Putin, President Trump is kind of going scorched earth on Putin. But you know what? They just tried to blow up his transport carrier. Was it a helicopter, I believe, or a plane? I have more stories on this, but yeah, you keep trying to assassinate the guy. I'm surprised that he's ramping things up. Like, you're still going after him. That's not winding things down into a ceasefire. So anyway, this post from Wall Street Citizen says Vladimir Putin has declared an end to negotiations with the West, warning that it's time to put the West in a chokehold. Well,
get him in a chokehold. They're trying to strangle us, and we should reciprocate. We did not chase anyone out. We provided the best possible conditions to work in our market, and they're trying to choke us. And we should act in a mirror fashion. We need to get them in a chokehold.
is this the beginning?
They're trying to strangle us, and we...
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, let's listen to Stephen Miller. He's trying to set some stuff right. Kenneth showing us the gas on the West Coast, and he says, I can get cheaper gas at a Taco Bell. Saying Vladimir is not going to put up with it. Also, Kenneth, the Democrat agenda has been so in your face, insane and evil. How can anyone support it? I don't know. For the life of me, I don't know. Stephen Miller here says, I've seen a few claims making the rounds on the big, beautiful bill that require correction. So let's get to it. Let's see. I'm checking the replies. Oh, they're saying they don't have 60 votes in the Senate because they can't pass the Doge cuts with only 50. All right. The first claim that requires correction is that the new bill doesn't codify the Doge cuts. A reconciliation bill, which is a budget bill that passes with 50 votes, is limited by Senate rules to mandatory spending only. Medicaid, food stamps, etc. The Senate rules prevent it from cutting discretionary spending, e.g. the Department of Education or federal grants. The Doge cuts are overwhelmingly discretionary, not mandatory. The bill saves more than $1.6 trillion in mandatory spending, including the largest ever welfare reform, which is a remarkable achievement. I've also seen claims the bill increases the deficit. This lie is based on a CBO accounting gimmick. Income tax rates from the 2017 tax cut are set to expire in September. They were always planned to be permanent. CBO says maintaining current rates adds to the deficit. But by definition, leaving these income tax rates unchanged cannot add 1 penny to the deficit. The bill's spending cuts reduce the deficit against the current law baseline, which is the only correct baseline to use. Another fantastically false claim, according to Stephen Miller, is that the bill spends trillions of dollars. This is just completely invented out of whole cloth. This is not a 10-year budget bill. It doesn't fund almost any operations of government, which are funded in the annual budget bills, which this is not. In other words, if this bill is passed, but the annual budget bill did not, there would be no government funding. Under the math that critics are using, if we passed a one-paragraph reconciliation bill that cut simply $50 billion in food stamp spending, they would say the bill added trillions in spending and debt because they are counting all the projected federal spending that exists entirely outside the scope of this legislation, which is, of course, preposterous. The only funding in the bill is for the president's border and defense priorities, while enacting a net spending cut of over $1.6 trillion. This is some positive context. Accurate? Budgets get complicated. I don't know. James O'Keefe mentioning how he was raided by the FBI because he exposed what Biden's daughter said about Biden.
I was raided by the FBI shortly before I met you. The FBI pointed guns at me and took my reporter's notebooks. They just recently closed the case against me a few months ago, the FBI, in February of this year.
I believe this is on Patrick Bet David.
And they gave me back my phones that they had for 3.5 years. When you get a search warrant to conduct a raid, you have to go to a judge, right, with a reason. Oh, we have this probable cause, the reasons why to raid. When you close a case, which is very rare for the FBI to execute a search warrant and not bring charges, it hardly ever happens, you are required by law to give a copy of the probable cause. That is the reason why you conducted the raid. Guess what they did? They redacted every single word of the probable cause used to raid my newsroom. Every word. Maybe your producer can pull it up on Google or something. Every word. There's a black bar, Pat, through. It's ridiculous. It's literally black bars. And we're not talking about terrorists. We're not talking about Jeff Epstein. We're not talking about child molesters and drug traffickers. We're talking about James O'Keefe, the journalist. So if our FBI, our Attorney General's office, can't be transparent about why they raided a journalist's newsroom, why do we have any faith in the FBI to be transparent about these other issues. That's where I'm coming from on this.
And is this in regard to the Ashley Biden diary, James?
Correct.
This is it, right? Because somebody contacted you and told them that they found the diary of the daughter of the President of the United States saying a bunch of stuff and also claiming that her father showered with her probably at inappropriate ages, and then they raid your house.
Correct.
Is that real?
That's a real document. Can you zoom in, please?
Like what?
It says probable cause justifying search of O'Keefe's person and premises. Every single word is redacted. They even redacted the footnote.
So
isn't this insane? There's more of this.
So it means they can do whatever they want, and they don't have to show you why they came in your house.
It's literally it's a violation. Look at this. Look at this.
The whole thing. Keep going, Rob.
Everything.
Okay. Oh, I see what they did there.
Okay, wait. There's something unredacted. Read the bottom.
What's the bottom?
Read that. Based upon this is an FBI agent, I have learned, among other things, that cell phones are capable of sending emails.
Great.
Are you kidding me? Really trying to do?
What were they really trying to do?
They were really trying to get inside my cell phone because people in the government come to me with information, which as a reporter I have a right to receive, and they don't like that. I say, I want to speak to my lawyer. I say over and over again, I want to speak to my lawyer because I learned I was arrested 10 years prior. Don't talk to the FBI. Just don't, even if you're innocent.
Did you catch that? Make sure you remember that note. Never talk to the FBI, especially if you're innocent. Talk to an attorney.
They say, would you like to use the iPhone on your nightstand? I said, yes. And then I unlock the phone because I have to call my lawyer. And the moment that I unlock my phone, they snatch the phone. Get out of here.
Holy shit.
They snatched the phone out of my hand because I unlocked the phone. And then the FBI agent, like almost to torture me in front of me, he goes to the settings and he changes the settings to make it not go to sleep.
Wow.
Yes. And then they put the phone in an evidence bag. Now the FBI has access to all of my signal messages. Do you know what's in my signal messages? All the people in the government that come to me with information.
Wow.
So the Department of Justice, this is the Biden department, or a month before Trump was elected in 2020.
Wow.
Excuse me, Biden was elected in 2020. Now they have access to all of my sources.
Jeez.
So this is what's considered to be a constitutional raping, because the American Bill of Rights have special protections for reporters. And you're talking to the only newsroom that has ever been raided by the FBI. We're the only ones that have ever been raided. I was raided by the FBI shortly before I met you. The FBI pointed guns at me and took my reporter's notebooks.
I'm curious if there's any justice on the way from Bondi, Patel, or Bongino. What are they even doing? Inappropriate showers with his daughter. That's Joe Biden. Allegedly, according to that diary. Douglas Mackey says, where are the reports of all the FBI agents being fired? What am I missing here? DOJ lawyers got fired. State Department officials got fired. Department of Department of Energy got wiped out, etc. What's so special about the FBI? Emerald Robinson says the FBI has Seth Rich's laptop and Huma Abedin's laptop and Hunter Biden's laptop and Jeffrey Epstein's videotapes. The FBI hid all of these items from the public. America is a banana republic where the secret police exist to protect the state. Isn't that super? Congressman Brandon Gill says multiculturalism is nothing more than disdain for Western civilization. It's an ideology that must be eradicated if America and the West are to survive. What multiculturalism boils down to, says Thomas Sowell quotes, what multiculturalism boils down to is that you can praise any culture in the world except Western culture, and you cannot blame any culture in the world except Western culture. I'm going to say defend Western culture button. And that one didn't work. Gotta delete. Gotta repost. And there we go. Attack on Western culture. Wide Awake Media here is saying this. This is a 116. Is this a video? It didn't want to play, did it?
15 éve már, hogy nem bírnak velünk, és minden fegyverük kicsorbult rajtunk.
I'll just mute it. It says, the tide has turned. Viktor Orban puts the Soros empire, liberal globalists, and Brussels bureaucrats on notice. Every weapon they've wielded has blunted on us. They have failed with blackmail, money threats. They have failed with blackmail, money, threats, mercenaries, and Brussels bureaucrats. We endured. We held on because we believed that one day the tide would turn, and the tide has turned. The patriots of the Western world have gained strength and won in Italy, the Netherlands, Austria, and now in the United States. We are flying together in solidarity in the battle for the soul of the Western world. We can look our children and grandchildren in the eye knowing they will have a legacy to carry forward. That's Viktor Orban. It's important that you understand who the global players are. It will matter. Yeah, we're waiting for handcuffs. Even zip ties will do. Alex here is saying Massachusetts officially moves to ban cars and implement 15-minute cities. The very same restrictions are now being put in place in the UK and Western Europe. First, they track and restrict your mileage. Then they ban your car altogether. This is high-tech neo-feudalism. Watch. Senator Cynthia Cream says EVs aren't enough. Massachusetts must limit how far you can drive too. Her bill creates a panel to track your mileage and fine you if you go too far. She says just walk or bike. She is just a puppet. This all comes from the World Economic Forum UN death cult.
Miles traveled in Massachusetts.
Saying that electric vehicles aren't enough to reach the net zero carbon mandate by 2050, 82-year-old state senator Cynthia Cream has introduced a bill that would keep track and limit the number of miles you drive with your vehicle.
Massfiscal.org is the one that put this out. Garbaggio Conspiracy shared it.
Now's the time to pursue new strategies, additional strategies for reducing transportation emissions.
The bill establishes a panel that will be responsible.
I'm going to be super excited to get the YouTube flag that, this circus music in the background of a elected official explaining a policy. Well, that goes against our policy. We can't let anyone see this. We'll claim a copyright.
Responsible for creating fines and penalties if you go above the limit.
Would require the Commonwealth's transportation investment plans to provide a reasonable pathway to compliance with.
Reasonable pathway to compliance. That's their job.
There are emission limits.
That's their goal.
Mileage vouchers. To promote alternative modes of transportation, like public transit, biking, walking.
Have you learned how to ride a bike yet?
Thinking about our future needs for transportation options other than cars. We have to walk.
Other than cars.
Legislation like this is a clear indication that it's past time for Cynthia Cream to retire.
Yep, and I'll just put flee blue cities, flee blue states. You can't just walk or bike. It's a personal choice. Hey, you ready for a word salad alert? This reminded me of Kamala Harris. Freedom Convoy Europe shared this. They're checking the propaganda machine here. Let's take a listen. All these flags everywhere. Oh, it's so official.
Good morning. So we are having a
Foreign Affairs Council on Development today, so this is my first time to chair the development ministers. We are going to discuss the impacts of U.S. aid withdrawal from the development aid and where we can...
Yeah, U.S. aid withdrawal. Fund your own damn crap.
Come in. Of course, we have strategic priorities. We can't fill the void that U.S. is leaving behind totally, but we are focusing on the priorities that we have, and we will discuss about this. Of course, it will be our neighborhood. It will be also democracy, media freedom. It will be also
democracy and media freedom.
Priorities like human rights and democracy.
Democracy again. Oh, the big buzzwords. Yeah, it's a word salad alert. Hey, in case there was any question on who was Biden's auto pen, Coppola Films put this out. Take a listen, take a watch.
Fewer Americans filed initial claims for unemployment insurance than any time in recorded history. Since President Biden took office,
So today, as you all saw just an hour or so ago, President Obama announced that, President Obama announced that, President Biden. Whoa! That is news.
As President Biden's got significant limitations on his memory, then who is helping him run the country?
The President of the United States runs the country. The Commander-in-Chief runs the country.
How can he be trusted with the nuclear codes if, I get that you're saying that nobody in the building would say that he's got an issue with his memory, but just the little part of what we get to see, he's made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake on camera this week.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement, I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
So folks, you want to nominate a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Biden-Obama Democrat,
Weeks, fewer Americans filed initial claims for unemployment insurance than any time in recorded history. Since President Biden took office.
An Biden-Obama Democrat, in case you're curious. So there's that. All right. German MEP Christine Anderson. Wide Awake Media. Play.
Are you familiar with what the differences are between mis, dis, and malinformation?
I can't keep, I mean, it seems like everything switches on a daily basis. What is
mis, dis, and malinformation?
Misinformation, malinformation, disinformation. I can't keep track of it. Maybe you can educate us.
Well, misinformation is wrong information, and you are distributing it by mistake. You don't know any better. You think it's true. That would be considered misinformation.
Okay.
Now we have disinformation. Disinformation is the
disinformation and dat information. Disinformation, dat information.
conscious spreading of wrong information. You know better. You know it's not true, but you're spreading it anyway. An example for that would be like when all the governments pretty much around the world told everyone that these mRNA injections were safe and effective.
Right.
That was actually disinformation.
Right.
They knew better. They knew better. Yes, exactly. They knew it's false.
By the way, for countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. I tell you this under duress because they want you to know countervailing opinions are out there when it disagrees with their preferred narrative. They don't give you my countervailing views when I disagree with their lies. But, you know, that's how Google and Meta operate.
We now know it was neither safe nor effective, but they knew better and they spread it anyway. Now we're going to malinformation. And that's really the kicker now. Malinformation is factually true information, which is harmful. No, it's factually true information, but it is harmful. So an example for that would be...
And harmful to who? Can you clarify harmful to who? The powers that be?
Harmful to the politically desired narrative. So an example for malinformation would be if I said there is exactly two sexes, men and women. It's a factually true statement, but they deem it harmful. And as you already, to who is it harmful? And who decides what harmful information is? So, and that's what we are drifting into, the totalitarianism right now.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what the differences are between dis and malinformation?
Anyway. Harmful. Hey, so did you see this? French President Macron has his face shoved on his presidential plane in front of cameras before getting off the plane in Vietnam. The person he's walking around with, who he appears to be married to, Emmanuel Macron met this person that goes by the name Bridget when he was 15 and that person was almost 40. So it's 25 years old. Guy getting for it. I mean, that's clearly a wig, right? And so it's better than that. Are there even? I don't know what Candace is saying, but that's kind of crazy. Yep, there's Candace right there. On the GIF. Okay. White people humor shared this. It's a pretty good one. And there we go. White people humor says, what if they take the fluoride out of the water and everyone in Florida starts acting normal? Florida man. Wouldn't that be something? Harvard's in the news. Harvard fires a professor for fabricating research on dishonesty. Great. Oh, it's a great research project you're putting together on dishonesty there, lady from Harvard. It'd be a shame if somebody were dishonest about it. Harvard is in the news for all the wrong reasons. Actually, I'll put that in the comment. Harvard is all up in the news for all the wrong reasons. A dishonesty research project that was dishonest. I love it. All right. So this happened over the weekend. Here's a report shared from Informed with Anthony. This is a Fox and Friends report here. California's at it again.
High school track athlete from California will compete in the female track and field state championship after taking first place in the long jump and the triple jump at a key qualifying meet over the weekend. The California Interscholastic Federation is already under investigation by the Education Department for defying President Trump's order to keep men out of women's sports. The founder of XXXY Athletics, Jennifer Say, joins us now. Hey, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on. As an athlete yourself, what's your reaction to this?
I mean, we're all just so tired of it. 2 months ago, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, said it was unfair for boys to compete in girls' sports, but he's done nothing about it. Actions speak louder than words here. And this male athlete, a junior in high school, was first over the weekend in 2 events. He displaced Kaylee Best, who was the rightful winner in both long jump and triple jump. She did not have the chance to stand atop the podium, which she should have had. But he also displaced young women from even qualifying for state. It's ridiculous. He has male advantage. He shouldn't be allowed to compete in girls. And according to the executive order, he's not, but California is ignoring it.
A high school track athlete from California will compete in the female track
and you know what? We said, why are girls participating in a farce like this? Why aren't coaches pulling the kids in unison? I mean, the girls need to boycott. That's it. Like, that's how you stop this stuff. Going along with this keeps it going. Rapid Response 47 puts this out. There we go. Just over the past weekend, ICE arrested the following illegal immigrants. Guatemalan 18th Street gang member, a Salvadorian charged with sexual abuse of a child, a Mexican convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a Mexican accused of assault of a minor, assault of a minor, a Mexican convicted of a Mexican convicted of distributing meth. Marjorie Taylor Greene shared this. Joe Biden let criminals from around the world pour into our country and pampered them with your tax dollars. President Trump is deporting the violent thugs who terrorize our communities and harm our kids. America first means putting Americans first. I'll just say bravo. Button. All right. All right, so good news. Oversight Committee. Daily Caller says, politics. Biden aide admits that staff did undemocratic things because Trump was an existential threat to democracy. GOP Oversight says, you can't make this up. No one. Absolutely no one. Democrats. Yeah, we had to do undemocratic stuff to save democracy from Trump. Where are the indictments? Button. I love my cat, but when he nuzzles on me, it activates my allergies. Sorry about that. I've used the dump button twice to sneeze. Ron DeSantis here saying this about that. Okay, in response to the Matt Van Swol article here, let's take a look. Ron DeSantis says Elon Musk took massive incoming, including attacks on his companies as well as personal smears, to lead the effort on Doge. He became public enemy number one of lying legacy media around the world. To see Republicans in Congress cast aside any meaningful spending reductions and, in fact, fully fund things like USAID is demoralizing and represents a betrayal of all the voters who elected him. Shame on the GOP button. Here's Wolf Blitzer talking about woke indoctrination. More Harvard stories.
Administration canceling all these remaining government contracts with Harvard, $100 million worth.
Yeah, it's a lot of money there, and those are the remaining federal grants. So essentially what we know is that the administration is expected at any moment, as soon as this afternoon, to send a letter to federal agencies telling them to cancel all of their existing federal contracts with Harvard. But it actually goes further than that. It tells them to not consider Harvard, but consider other options in the future instead of Harvard, which would effectively kill the entire grant program with the federal government. Now, I want to read you part of the letter that CNN obtained. This is what's expected to go out. It says, we recommend that your agency terminate for convenience each contract that it determines has failed to meet its standards and transition to a new vendor. It says, going forward, we also encourage your agency to seek alternative vendors for future services where you had previously considered Harvard. Agencies have time but just until June 6th to respond with what cancellations they have actually done. And remember, Wolf, as you guys have just noted, this is just the latest in an ongoing escalation. I want to take a look at what we have seen from the White House, from the administration when it comes to Harvard, really for the last month here. Starting back in April 14th, they froze $2.2 billion in grants. April 15th, they threatened Harvard's tax-exempt status. April 17th, they demanded international student records. May 13th, they froze another $450 million in funding. May 22nd, they moved to bar international students. May 26th, they considered redirecting $3 billion from Harvard to trade schools. And then, of course, May 27th, we're here where we are expecting this White House to send this letter, the GSA, General Services Administration, to send this letter to federal agencies to cut those remaining federal contracts. So clearly an escalation here. Of course, as we know, Wolf, the administration has accused Harvard of having liberal bias, of allowing anti-Semitic behavior on campuses, among other things.
Trump administration.
Trade schools instead of these hoity-toity schools. Huh. How about trade schools in useful skills are greater than woke garbage button. There you go. Sweden warning the world America is refusing to listen.
Fru talman, min dotter ska inte växa upp i ett Europa präglat.
Amy Mack is sharing this. Swedish MP Beatrice Timgren just exposed the growing threat of imported Islamic values. My daughter should not grow up in a Europe characterized by Islamic values, she says. She sounded the alarm on Iraq's push to legalize child marriage for girls as young as 9, and then made the connection that Western leaders refuse to face. This is legitimized pedophilia quite simply. These medieval values are now being spread and normalized in Europe because of naive and anxious politicians who do not dare to protect our way of life. She's not talking about Iraq staying in Iraq. She's warning that these same values are crossing borders through migration, mosque networks, and Sharia-driven activism. Encouraging people to stand up for women's rights, stop importing female oppression, stop normalizing and legitimizing hating Islam. Charity legislation is not welcome in Europe. All right, there's Sweden. What say you? Does that make sense? Is that something you would say that you agree or something you disagree with? All right. Let's now go to X and buzz through the stories here, people. Let's do it. Yep, like I said, check out our show. This is John B. Wells and myself, and this is our Patreon link. Let me put my links up. I didn't mention that today. If anybody wants to throw anything in our tip jar, thank you to our new subscribers on Patreon. New American Media on Patreon. You can do like $5 a month, 15 a month, 100 a month, 1,000 a month, 10,000 a month, whatever feels right to you. All of it feels right to me, and I appreciate all of it. We're also on Venmo and Cash App at Brian Engelman and PayPal at Fuzz Installment. So those are places scrolling at the bottom of your screen that you can contribute to the New American Media if you appreciate what we are providing you. Also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, True Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, D-Live, and YouTube at the New American Media. All scrolling at the bottom. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_. Subscribe to our podcast at the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. Kenneth saying that John did Wells on our show. Yes, he did. Elon is showing this about, I wonder, is there audio to this? Audio that'll get me flagged for generic. Elon is saying Starship can reach Mars in 6 months, every 26 months when the planets align. How long would commercial airplane take? What was this? If the possible speed was 559 miles an hour. Anyway, I think it's cool to look at intergalactic travel. 11.6 years, 5.3 years. How long to get to the sun? 19 years. Okay. There you have it. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you're watching. By the way, this is Tim Walz, one of the standard bearers of the Democrat Party. Let's just remind yourself, the Democrats' choice for 2024 VP is on camera saying he suffers from PTSD after serving in Afghanistan while speaking to a Gold Star
Your
family.
keen understanding of how this works, especially from National Guard families. I can tell you this, having been one of those that came back, we were in support of OEF, but sitting in there with OIF veterans, when we came back, they showed us the horse whisperer and told us to be nice when we went home. And that was the extent of it. That was in 2004. Now, I'm proud to say that because of the people sitting in here and people who came before me, things have changed over the last 4 years. They have not changed enough. But Mr. Kennedy is following and moving something forward that the late senator from Minnesota, Senator Wellstone, advocated so clearly, mental health parity, and this issue of destigmatizing mental health, of understanding. And I, being in there and knowing as a first sergeant, know exactly what you're saying, and watching as people aren't trained on this, that there is there's a discrimination that goes against a soldier who has the courage, the fortitude, and as you said, the insight to admit this. So there's a couple things I want to ask you with your key.
So the only problem with his assertion is that this SOB never served in Afghanistan, let alone fought in Afghanistan. He should be barred and excommunicated from ever holding public office for desecrating the memory of those who served. So, is that something you would disagree with? Kind of seems like that would be somebody you'd want to get out. This person is reminding us in 2026, every single member of Congress, 435 House seats and 33 Senate seats, faces re-election. It's a rare chance to hit reset. The system's broken. Career politicians, corporate ties, and gridlock have stalled the progress for too long. We need a complete overhaul, Erica says. Vote for fresh voices, prioritizing people over power and accountability over ambition. Demand term limits, transparency, and real change. Let's clean house and rebuild a Congress that actually works for us. All right, so that's next year. Let's get ready, people. Let me double check on Anthony Weiner's conviction. See if we can get a quick update, because I want to share this video with you. Former congressman from New York, convicted in 2017, transferring obscene material to a minor. Oh, minors. Pled guilty May of 2017. Felony count, sending explicit charges to a 15-year-old girl in North Carolina on Skype, Snapchat. Despite knowing her age, 21 months in federal prison. Serving 18 months at Federal Medical Center in Devens, Massachusetts, released in May 2019. Remainder of his sentence served in a Bronx halfway house, paid a $10,000 fine, served 3 years of supervised release, registered S offender for 20 years. Weiner had prior sexting scandals and indirect impact on the 2016 election, as emails found on his laptop led to a brief reopening of the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server. So that's the context of this guy who was confronted. This is Anthony Weiner. Check this out. There you go.
So, I mean, who are you carrying for? I'm carrying for a candidate, but hey, what candidate? Let's talk about all of those things you guys, you and the Clintons have done over the years with all of those people that died, those strange deaths. Really? Anthony Weiner, folks, the guy who's been texting minors. One more to the list. Look at this guy. Add this guy to the list. This is Anthony Weiner. Jim Walden, this is who's working for you. It's almost time, folks. It's almost time, folks. Jim Walden. It's almost time. Anthony Weiner, the pedophile. What about you, pal? Anthony Weiner. What about you? How about all of those? Drop something. How about all of those? Who's it? Jim Walden. How about all of those? Jim Walden. How about all of those crazy deaths with the Clinton family and those spirit cookings? Yeah, and one more. Yeah, how about all of that adrenochrome? What's up with all that adrenochrome, my guy? You look like you got some.
Weiner was with Huma Abedin. Huma was with Hillary. Huma's now with George Soros's son. It's very arranged and it's very weird, people. Very arranged, very strange, very weird.
Hey, look at Anthony Weiner, folks. Anthony Weiner. Hey, we about to find out about those Clinton files and all that stuff. Who are you afraid to say? Let's go. Can we get it? Say the words.
So, you know, that brought up a couple of topics. Some that we can't discuss. All right, let's look at what's going on in Los Angeles. Well, it's not good.
What was captured on video over the weekend, people targeting stores, metro trains, and police cars with graffiti and vandalism, is just the latest act of chaos that's been going on for months. He says about 15 to 20 underground parties happen every weekend, with police and businesses struggling to keep track.
We have underage drinking. We have violence coming out of these. There's nothing positive that comes out of this.
The LAPD says more than 1,000 people spilled onto the streets after an underground party Saturday night. About 50 of them vandalizing and blocking 2 Metro Line A trains at the corner of Washington and Maple. The police response was met with more vandalism and someone throwing a firework at a patrol unit. The LAPD says one officer required medical attention after getting hit with a bottle.
I want to know how many of the individuals were identified. I want to know who will be arrested and when.
No one was arrested at the scene, but LA Mayor Karen Bass says the LAPD and District Attorney's Office will be looking at the videos to find those responsible. Rodriguez says the city needs to go a step further and hold responsible those who are allowing the underground parties to happen.
Not one party promoter, not any person granting access to a space to be used has been held accountable for these parties. If LA really wants to revitalize downtown LA and bring it back to what it was before the pandemic, this needs to be addressed.
Rodriguez compares the parties to the street takeovers that have been happening throughout Southern California. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, Ted Chen, NBC4 News. Colleen, Annabelle, back.
And those street takeovers were really weird. That started happening right as I was kind of on my way out of town. When I was getting out of Los Angeles, they were taking over the intersections and just peeling out, burning rubber, spinning around, being crazy and reckless and putting everybody's lives in danger. Oh, this damn gross graffiti. Oh, they're actually spraying the cop cars. Yeah, they've totally lost control in Los Angeles. Flee blue cities, flee blue states. Libs of TikTok put this out. James Comey, this piece of trash, when is he going to get indicted?
Is happening now is that the Trump administration is, of course, testing the system in ways it hasn't been tested before. In the law enforcement sense, do you think there are laws that should be put in place that would help better manage this that aren't in place now? I mean, are we equipped? Is the law enforcement system and the legal system equipped to deal with what we're seeing now?
Probably there could be changes at the margins, but in the main, we have the tools. There are cultural impediments to doing this work. Let's say you work in the FBI. You know that one of the 2 political parties is, let me put it nicely, white supremacist adjacent at a minimum. And so why would you want to throw your career on that side of the line and be summoned to Capitol?
What the hell is he talking about? God, this guy sucks.
Let's say you work in the FBI. You know that one of the 2 political parties is, let me put it nicely, white supremacist adjacent.
What the fuck is white supremacist adjacent? This goofy cuck. Jen Psaki, would you care to ask him, can you please define what the actual fuck you're getting at? basing that grotesque statement on what? Nothing. Nothing. It just flies out there, no pushback. How has he not been indicted? Why is he not in jail? You're blowing these dog whistles out there and you're calling for more threats on the president.
At a minimum. And so why would you want to throw your career on that side of the line and be summoned to Capitol Hill to be asked, why are you pursuing these innocent groups? And so
innocent groups? What innocent groups? Illegal alien invaders are not innocent.
we have a cultural impediment to working it effectively that should get more attention than it does.
Good grief. Called Republicans white supremacists, called to assassinate Trump, demonizing entire group, calling for violence. He knows exactly what he's doing, say the comments. He does know exactly what he's doing. And we know. Here, watch this meme. Let's shift this over to Luke Radowski. She does look like, it does look like a monkey wig, doesn't it? Oh, be careful. If Roseanne makes that joke, only certain people can. All humans can look like animals. I defended Roseanne at the time. Luckily, that's a... I don't even know. Do you say a white woman? Do you say a white man? I'm not getting into this. It's all just so stupid. Pretty wild, though. All right. Enough of that. Okay. Hey, so here's in 2007, Joe Biden discussing troop removal from Afghanistan. Be a shame if people saw this, says Gaina Fauci.
Big difference to tell the American people the truth about what our options are in ending this war. If tomorrow the order goes out from I'm President of the United States, I issue an order, end the war today, begin to withdraw all American troops. It will take a year to get the American troops out.
Oh.
Do you hear me now? That's the truth. It will take a year to get them physically out. Now, if you leave all the equipment behind, you might be able to do it in 7 months. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grand...
Weird. Why is he getting in on that lady's face?
And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday.
And you did leave all those weapons behind to be used against Americans. You sociopath. Says the big guy. Alex here posting this.
We need to get them in a chokehold. They're trying to strangle us, and we should reciprocate.
I played the first part of this. There appears to be more. Putin's helicopter. NATO attempted 2 days ago to shoot down Putin's helicopter. And now that's led to a massive escalation of the war.
We did not chase anyone out. We provided the best possible conditions to work in our market, and they're trying to choke us. And we should act in a mirror fashion. We need to get them in a chokehold.
All right. Elon is asking how many real people are still on the internet. AI bots run the internet now, says Mario Knopfel. Over half of all web traffic is bots, and many of them up to no good, stealing passwords, crashing sites, faking clicks, and even pretending to be you. Many of them hit travel sites, steal concert tickets, and hijack social media posts just to mess with people and fuel drama. Experts say these bots are getting smarter by the day. Meanwhile, you're still solving CAPTCHAs. Who knew? NW Rain Judy says, here are the Politburo members who were really running the Biden White House, according to original sin authors. The more I learn, the more pissed I get. A small, tight-knit group in former President Joe Biden's inner circle was running the White House like a Politburo, and they were the ultimate decision makers as Biden's health and cognitive function continued to decline, according to the authors of a bombshell new book. This group, dubbed the Politburo, included a coterie of seasoned political veterans, including Mike Donnellan, Steve Ricchetti, and Bruce Reed, but also family members such as First Lady Jill Biden and the president's son Hunter, the authors of Original Sin Claim. An unidentified cabinet secretary vented about the Politburo, saying, I've never seen a situation like this before with so few people having so much power. They would make huge economic decisions without calling Treasury Secretary Yellen. That is insane. Is this Jen Psaki wouldn't recognize truth if a 50-pound ball of it dropped on her head? South African leaders saying shoot to kill, kill the Boer, the farmer. Where are the Democrats to deny this? Let's take a listen.
Put this on, it's right behind you.
So yeah, I mean, he had a video ready to push his baseless claims, and we're not showing you
baseless claims.
That video, because the video was focused on years-old comments from a fringe radical politician.
Years-old comments? Well, if it's years old.
Focused on years-old comments from a fringe radical politician that folks like Elon Musk have fixated on.
Folks like Elon fixated on. I wonder why you would fixate on the crazy ramblings of that person, huh?
And look, the fact that Trump and his allies are not just pushing this narrative, but they're making policy decisions based on it is incredibly alarming. It's also not surprising. I mean, this is the same administration that is waging an assault on diversity and equality.
Waging an assault on anti-white discrimination. Interesting how she phrases that.
That is waging an assault on diversity and equality right here at home by fire.
That is such a shitty way to say stopping anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-straight, anti-male bigotry.
Right here at home by firing qualified officials, taking books off shelves, removing posters off walls, and now even opening DOJ investigations.
Books off shelves. What books off shelves? You mean pornographic materials in elementary school libraries? You're damn right. Taking what off the walls? All your woke propaganda? You're damn right. Take it all off.
Against Chicago's mayor for celebrating his office's diversity.
Wow, has Jen Psaki gotten worse?
Against Chicago's mayor for celebrating. And now even opening DOJ investigations against Chicago's mayor for celebrating his office's diversity.
Celebrating Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson? Celebrating diversity is what they call blatant anti-white racism. Get a load of Jen Psaki and MSNBC. How disgusting.
Something, by the way, elected officials of both parties have done for a long time. There's a reason that.
Wow. So they're saying you claim that the videos of chanting to off-white farmers are years old. May I direct attention to Jack's post with video from yesterday?
Oh, my gooby.
Is this a black girl? It looks like a white girl. I mean, someone with a tan. Is that a black girl or a white girl with white hair?
Roma Gubi Kichi 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 Sibram Konto Alliance. Sibram Konto
I'm not hearing this
Alliance.
in English.
Bongela Wanagit. Silta Tile. Shoot to kill.
Oh, they're doing it again. Wow, I thought this was years old, Jen Psaki.
Hilagit. Silta Tile. Hilagit. Shoot to kill. Kilama. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. I repeat, kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Man.
Is that a guy? I'm always asking these questions now. Is that a guy? They said, sir, maybe they're just saying Bill the farmer. I don't think so. Get that look. She's like, uh-oh, I'm busted. So Jack Posobiec is saying the South African race Marxist leader yesterday saying to a crowd of people, shoot to kill, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. All right. Well. Thanks, Jen Psaki. You're full of it. Never forget Hillary Clinton on the weekend of the Memorial Day.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
What difference does it make that you lied about the whole thing and tried to cover it up? And then you tried to demonize the people? Almost like they had it coming because they didn't worship Islam, like they deserve to be executed because there was a movie that someone didn't like. So like you were making excuses for it. It was bad on 100 levels, Hillary Clinton. What difference at this point does it make? Oh, it makes a ton of difference. CVS is closing all 23 pharmacy locations in Arkansas. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed into law Bill 1150, ending the conflict of interest of pharmacy benefits managers owning pharmacies. PBMs are the ones who set the insane prices. So instead of complying, CVS is leaving Arkansas locations. Go figure. On OAN here, they're saying the FDA were buying baby skulls during the Obama administration for $550 per skull. Now you know why they were pushing abortion so bad. Planned Parenthood must have been making a killing. No pun intended. 5-minute video. Check out that right there. Anna Paulina Luna enters into the record the $32 million that Adam Schiff extorted from the American taxpayers, all in the name of Russia collusion hoax. Thank you, Anna Paulina. Put that on the record. Liz Churchill asks us to please remember the Gold Star mom, Tina Peters, on this Memorial Day. She discovered serious election fraud and was thrown into prison by Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold. Tina Peters has now spent 236 days in prison for being an American hero.
Out of the 64 counties in Colorado, envelopes and in there.
Yeah. So check out that interview. Gateway Pundit reporting that for the first time in Rasmussen's polling history, a majority of Americans say the U.S. is now on the right track. How about that? First time ever? A majority of Americans say U.S. is on the right track. That's great. Disgraced J6 prosecutor Sarah Levine cried in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee after she was fired for her weaponized prosecutions. Cry more, you witch. If it were up to me, you'd be in jail for what you did to the J6ers.
Reference people, but didn't have a list of names attached. But the information provided was confusing. I knew I was probably on the list, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. I headed back to the office so I could figure out what was happening.
Yep. Here you go. Here is star Harvard business professor stripped of tenure and fired for manipulating data in studies on dishonesty. Oh, that is rich, isn't it? Here's Aaron Brockovich, environmental activist, talking with Laura Logan on News Nation. U.S. farmers are sounding the alarm. Our land is being poisoned. Across America, farmers are warning that their soil and water are being contaminated by forever chemicals, toxic compounds that never break down and accumulate in the food chain. PFAS sprayed on fields through sewage sludge are now poisoning crops and livestock and livelihoods. Not just an environmental issue, a national emergency. This means generational farms are going bankrupt. Food is being pulled from shelves. Chemical giants are silent and untouchable. It wasn't accidental, it's systemic. And when the food supply is contaminated, freedom is too. The war on farmers is real, and it's coming to a field near you. It's an important topic. Hey, speaking about an important topic, how would you like to know that we're funding the Taliban?
We found the payments to the Taliban.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So
just try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours
They tried to hide evidence of paying the Taliban.
after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over a terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? And the Doge team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. We found the payments to the Taliban.
There you go. Why are we paying the Taliban? It's insane. This is Benny Johnson talking with Sam Antar. So interesting. This dude took 7 months doing a forensic audit of all of these properties. Letitia James. She put Trump on trial for crimes that she already committed.
Every single financial disclosure to New York State as far back as 2019 contains false information with her signature on it. Every single mortgage on her property in Brooklyn from when she purchased it contains false information. The Virginia property, which she claims like the power of attorney that she signed was a mistake, whatever, implicates her. Okay. The situation that she has is she put pen to paper. I didn't. Donald Trump didn't. MAGA didn't do it. You didn't do it. She owns this fraud. She did it. Now, every single...
Bring down Letitia James. Here's a black business owner snapping on George Floyd's auntie. Yeah, did you see? Actually, I don't have this in the stack. Let me... WNBA Floyd. This was insane. Okay. Here's a WNBA team. Just hold on.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father.
Honoring the life of George Floyd.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father, a brother, and a son. And his life...
Was he anything else?
And his son. And his life, like every life, held meaning. His death exposed the holes that are still in our justice and criminal institutions today. And his 5-year anniversary reminds us that we must continue the fight against criminal, racial, and social injustices. We cannot stay silent. Every life deserves respect and dignity. Thank you.
A WNBA team held a moment of silence honoring George Floyd, who died of a drug overdose and held up a pregnant woman at gunpoint, says Libs of TikTok. Do you agree or disagree with the framing from Libs of TikTok? Anyway. Black business owners snapping on George Floyd's auntie.
Let me tell you something. When they gave away the $50,000 that your family was handing out to the businesses to help them, you know how many people were up there that wasn't even from this area? There was 72 people up there trying to take that money from all the businesses. We didn't get a dime. None of us got a damn dime of that money to help us. Did you know that? Oh my God. Y'all didn't even know that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
They wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that.
We know that because I was there when it happened. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was in the room when they all showed up, all these white folks that we've never even seen over here, asking for the money that your family was putting down for these businesses. They took that money from us. We never got a dime. We never got help.
Yeah, a couple of people got helped. A couple of people got helped real nice. Gateway Pundit. This one just reminding us tens of billions of US dollars transferred to Ukraine and then fixing FTX cryptocurrency. The funds were laundered back to Democrats in the United States. Remember that, Sam Bankman-Fried? Remember that? Judge Janine Fan also says Mitch McConnell was one of the people whose name was named by Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't know about that, but he certainly acts kind of weird. Oh, gosh. Is this really what this lady said? Trayvon Johnson shot and Cade when a homeowner caught him robbing her home. Is this really what the family said?
I don't care if she have her gun license, her rights, or any of that. That is way beyond the law.
I'm sorry. You don't care if she what?
I don't care if she have her gun license, her rights, or any of that. That
you don't care if she has her rights. I care if she has her rights. You don't break into people's homes.
It's way beyond the law.
Beyond the law?
Way beyond.
Relatives of 17-year-old Trayvon Johnson are angry the teenager was shot and killed last night by a homeowner who police say was protecting her property.
He was not supposed to die like this. He had a future ahead of him. Trayvon had goals. He was a very funny guy. He was very big on education.
Very big on education. I don't think he learned how to break into homes in school.
Loved going to school. He loved learning.
Last night, Miami-Dade police say the D.A. Dorsey Technical College student burglarized a home south of 79th Street near I-95, just blocks away from where he lives. Detectives say the 54-year-old homeowner was alerted of the break-in by her security system. With officers already on their way.
I feel like I've shared a story like this before. I don't know if this is current or not. It was shared today. I was like, huh?
She rushed home to check things out, and police say she was armed.
She observed a subject exiting the home through the rear.
According to detectives, there was a confrontation and one shot was fired. Johnson was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Hey, what's wrong with her? She did not have to shoot him. There's no reason that she should have waited until after he walked out the yard to try to shoot him. If she called the police already, then why would she shoot him?
Relatives say they don't believe Johnson stole anything from the home, but detectives would not confirm that.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every child's point of view that was.
You need to look at it from every child's point of view. What?
Look at it from every child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school?
Well, the investigation.
That was the line that was quoted that I couldn't believe was actually said. I guess somebody said something like this out loud.
Detectives would not confirm that.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school?
Well,
how he gonna get his money to get clothes to go to school? You have to consider the perspective of people raised in the hood.
Home, but detectives would not confirm that.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every
You need to defend your home from an invasion. You have no idea. If someone's willing to break into your home, they're willing to do anything to you inside of your home. That is sacred ground. You do not break into somebody's home.
Child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school?
While the investigation continues into whether the shooting was justified or not, detectives want to remind the public that, if possible, it's best not to take these types of situations into your own hands.
If there's any type of situation that happens or they believe there's a burglary at their home or any type of confrontation, dial 911. Have the police go out and make that confrontation. That's what we're here.
That's CBS Miami. Miami, you're allowed to defend yourself. Yeah, I don't know if this is let me see if this is new or not, because this sounds too familiar. Yvonne Johnson. Burglary. I did play this before. Homeowner caught him robbing her home, led to a fatal shooting. Child raised in the hood. Castle doctrine law. Okay, I was right. That was an old story. But just saw it again today. I still can't believe someone would say this out loud. From 2016. All right, I was right. I did recall doing that story before. Meta AI. What is it telling people? Well, it said my kids would probably be better off in the care of somebody who is more accepting of transgenderism and DEI. Robbie Starbuck shares the terrifying details of how Meta AI software targeted him and labeled him a threat. It said that I'm essentially a dangerous person and told advertisers not to advertise with my show, and it even insisted an authority should consider taking my kids from me. That's Robbie Starbuck talking to Glenn Beck. Watch that video. Getting mixed reports on who the driver was in the Liverpool a 53-year-old man from Liverpool, white British man, they're saying. No credible sources. All right. There she is crying, this cold, callous person ruining other people's lives. The internet's undefeated. There's the person that Macron spends his time with, smacking him in the face. Elon pointing out that people want to off him because he's stopping their fraud. They want to hurt Tesla because they're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. I guess they're bad people, and bad people will do bad things. Supreme Court rejects an appeal over a student's two-gender shirt and upheld a federal appeals court decision saying the school was justified because the shirt carried a demeaning message. That there's two genders is demeaning. That's reality. 12-year-old in Middleborough was sent home from school and told he's making people feel unsafe for wearing a shirt that's saying there's only two genders. That's him destroying the school board. You get it. Megadeth frontman Dave Mustaine speaking out about Diddy, Cornell, and Chester Bennington. All right, you got me. I'm interested.
A former member of the musical group Danity Kane is set to return to the stand to testify in the case against him.
Do you think there's anything that kids that want to get into this type of industry need to watch out for?
In the music industry? Yeah, you have to be very careful from the pedophilia. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's in TV right now with Sean Puff Daddy Combs, with Jeffrey Epstein, with all these people that are coming out now getting busted for these crazy orgies and sex parties and everything. That breaks my heart to think that somebody that was an adult with a functioning mind, no matter how depraved it is, but that they would assault an innocent child. That to me is it's reprehensible, and I don't know why there isn't stricter punishment for that. I think a lot of it is because people just don't know what's happening.
Yeah, guys, some have questioned the timeline surrounding when help arrived for Cornell and if he actually killed himself. Police say an exhaustive investigation found no holes in the timeline or anyone's stories, but what we learned today, if the bodyguard is to be believed, hotel security and protocol delayed anyone from getting in that room.
Well, there are a lot of people that are very famous musicians. The rumor has it they were executed because they were getting ready to expose pedophilia.
Executed as in killed?
Well, the rumors going around about Chester from Lincoln Park and about Chris from Soundgarden was that they were making a movie on child abuse.
And Avicii I've seen these rumors too, but are they substantiated? Are they confirmed or denied? I don't recall.
Child trafficking, I think it was. They're both gone, and it's very suspicious.
Did you deal with any other types of abuse, any sexual abuse, anything like that?
It depends on what people say abuse is, because if you see stuff that you shouldn't see, that's abusive. And I saw stuff I shouldn't see.
Once you die and you let everything go, you cross over into this other realm. And then in the other realm that you cross over into is like pure bliss, very euphoric. I swear, I think it's like a spiritual realm that we don't have access to.
Holy cow. Man, you got some good...
It's a toad venom. I think that was God talking to me.
That's an angel, yeah.
You've never done them in like a therapeutic setting with a specific intention?
Not yet. But your story sure made me think. And by the way, that's not black, it's like dark purple.
The aura?
Mm-hmm.
It's still there?
Can you see energy fields around people?
I wouldn't say I've seen that, but can you?
Yeah.
Who do you see energy fields around?
I see it on you right now.
Huh. All right, I'm interested to learn more about this. Jack Posobiec saying this is the size of the Kill the Boer rallies in South Africa that the race Marxists are holding. CNN tells us it's nuanced. That's not nuanced. That is dangerous and terrifying and awful and atrocious. Alex is sharing this, saying that this is video evidence. Antifa was already inside the Capitol with floor plans, dressed as Trump supporters. I honestly hope you are all starting to get this now. Have you seen this one?
What's the floor plan?
They're yelling. What's the floor plans?
There's a door to the right. That's a cop. Going down the stairs, back, flipping around, door to the left. That's you. We're going to get over. Door's already open. We just need a plan. We need enough people. We need to push forward. Okay. Door right here. Not going that door. Downstairs.
Okay. Hey guys, I've been in the other room. Listen to me. In the other room on the other side of this door, right here where these feet are standing, there is a glass that if it's broken, you can drop down into a room underneath it. There's also two doors in the other room. One at the rear and one to the right when you go in. So people should probably coordinate together if you're going to take this building.
What interesting video. I'd like to see those missing 10,000 hours, by the way. Todd Starn says Doge did not just uncover wasteful spending, it uncovered widespread fraud. Thousands of people should be facing charges. Just curious, to date, how many former or current government workers or elected members of Congress have been held accountable? Not enough, huh? Not enough. Roger Stone says Tom Tillis is the Republican Letitia James. He's up to his ass in mortgage fraud. Mila Joy is saying that Senator Tom Tillis, senior Republican from North Carolina on key Senate subcommittees like banking, finance, and judiciary, has been implicated in a pattern of undisclosed real estate dealings suggesting potential fraud and tax evasion. From 2007 to 2016, Tillis used TRT Holdings to conduct $0 property transfers. Actions violating Ethics in Government Act requiring disclosure of assets over $1,000, income over $200, may involve fraudulent conveyance, false representation, and tax evasion. Crimes with penalties for up to 5 years per count. Tom Tillis has been acting very weird. I definitely support an investigation into Senator Tom Tillis. When Putin says they staged a coup and they forced us to do what we're now doing, Brian Cates says this is true. There was a NATO, CIA, State Department-backed coup of Ukraine in 2014. Yes, we've reported on that extensively. Elon talks about the money computers, magic money computers.
So I call it magic money computer, any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing. So
magic money computers, like the magic debit cards that never run out of money that they're giving the illegal alien invaders. Glenn Greenwald shared this and says, Jake Tapper, at the age of 56, and after 30 years in what one may loosely call journalism, pretends to have just woken up and realized what is, in fact, the first axiom of Journalism 101. Politicians and governments lie, and journalists shouldn't blindly believe them.
And I think that...
Oh, he looks haggard. This press tour, he is getting his ass kicked. Eyes low, slumped body language.
We need to be skeptical of...
Can't make eye contact.
Everything that we are told by people in power. And I mean, that obviously should be the mantra of being a journalist to begin.
Really avoiding eye contact.
And if you're...
Because he's embarrassed. He's a clown.
Mother tells you she loves you, get a second source. Right. But we just need to remember that. Like, politicians lie. White Houses lie. Power is an aphrodisiac. And we just need to all remember that and not take at face value anything that we're told.
Only until 20... Right at the last second does he glance at the person he's talking to. I don't buy any of it. Not buying any of it. Oh, codify the Doge is trending. Let's see what the latest is. These are the House Republicans refusing to codify the Doge cuts. Oh my gosh. If you're refusing to codify the Doge cuts, you need to go.
Off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things that, like, we're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud, and that will at least slow it down.
Elon Musk shows prime.
Yeah. Congress is failing us. Yep. So I want to see Doge codified, don't you? Oh, I certainly do. All right, folks, that's what I had prepared for you today. Unpacking the news. We'll have more tomorrow for you on the TNAM Daily Show. Thank you to everybody in chat. David, Kenneth, and the rest. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. We'll be back again tomorrow. Get out and enjoy your day, even if you're getting hit in the face with cicadas and even if it's raining. Go experience the wonderful world that we have while we can. All right, I'm going to sign up. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.